Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Answers About Aging. I'm your host, Deborah Costu. I am a national trainer for Alzheimer's and dementia, and I'm so excited that you've joined me today. We're going to talk about what exactly is Alzheimer's, what is the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and what the risk factors are. So, Alzheimer's disease is a progressive degenerative disease of the brain that destroys the brain cells. It changes our memory, it changes our thinking, it changes language and behaviors. This disease can last anywhere from 2 to 20 years. So when you think about that, 20 years, if you're caring for a loved one or maybe one of your parents are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, you really need to be preparing, and there are so many things that you need to do to prepare. And one of them is watching videos like this so that you can understand what's going on in that brain. The average person, however, will last anywhere, usually around 8 or 9 years is the average lifespan for this disease. Research tells us that before we even start presenting with symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia, those brain cells are dying long before we start showing any signs, up to about 20 years beforehand. So this disease is really kicking around in that brain for quite some time before we start showing any symptoms. Today, right now, as of today, Alzheimer's is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States. However, by the year 2040, Alzheimer's disease will be the #1 leading cause of death in the United States. So we need to pay attention, we need to start learning more about this disease, and we need to start working for a cure. The risk factors for Alzheimer's is #1 is our age. If you are blessed enough to reach the ripe old age of 85, your risk increases to 50%. So if you reach age 85, you have a 50% chance of contracting Alzheimer's disease. If you have a family history of dementia, that can also be a risk factor for you, and the lower your education level. If your overall health, if you were a smoker, a drinker, and you have poor dietary and exercise, those are all contributors. And head injuries. So head injuries can be definitely a high risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. And when you look at a lot of these pro athletes and what they've been going through, right, particularly football players, we're really starting to hear a lot in the headlines now, and it's really coming to light about what these head injuries are doing to our brain. So a lot of studies and a lot of doctors have found that what's good for the heart is good for the brain. So those heart healthy diets and exercise plans that are good for your heart, they're also good for your brain. So make sure you're looking into that. As a professional and as a trainer and a teacher, I'm often asked, what is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, right? Because we often use those words interchangeably. They really are two different things. So Alzheimer's is a disease and dementia is a symptom of that disease. So for instance, let's say you have a cold, right? When you have a cold, you have different symptoms underneath that cold. You may have a sore throat, a cough, a headache, a fever. Those are all symptoms of a cold. So Alzheimer's is the disease and dementia is a symptom of that disease. So there are many other diseases that have dementia as a symptom. Some of them are Lewy bodies disease, frontal temporal disease, vascular dementia, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So there are many, Parkinson's disease, many of them have dementia as one of the symptoms within that disease. Alzheimer's is the most common, however. Approximately 70% of people who have dementia, it will be Alzheimer's disease. So that's kind of, I think, why a lot of people use those terms interchangeably, but they are two different things. I would like to say thank you so much to all of the doctors, nurses, and social workers across the country who invited me to come and speak for them and train their staff on this very important topic, because we are going to see so much more of it coming down the road, and we're going to need to know how to communicate with people and understand what they're going through. So I'm Deborah Costu. Please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.